What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Domuto. We're back with another video. Today we're watching Saiyan. What if Universe 6 and 7 merged? Part 5. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I try to remember what happened last time. They was on Planet Namek, Frieza and all that shit happened, and yeah. So we're gonna get back into the story, man.
For the time being, our group of protagonists ends up splitting up. Kappa goes back to the Galactic Patrol, thanking everyone for their help here. As for everyone from Earth, they end up going back there, obviously. Caulifla and Vegeta actually don't really have anywhere to go, and they end up on Earth, both in solitude, not just from each other, but everybody else. Goku and Gohan return to their normal lives, with Goku obviously making out of Namek, not just returning home fine, but also returning home without Super Saiyan. You win some, you lose some. Piccolo, on the other hand, has seen a huge increase in power, and has a new motive for himself as well. He wants to defeat Frieza, figuring out where he is, and he is kind of concerned that he might show up on Earth eventually. Regardless, Piccolo is going to prepare for his next encounter with Frieza, as well as his next encounter with Hit. The two of them are still out there, and he doesn't know when either will show up, and if either will be a threat in the future. They could grow stronger, they could be the same strength. He needs to be sure that he can get rid of them when the time comes. So, what's going on with Frieza and Hit then? Well, as for Hit, let's cover his story a bit. Hit wants to get the Dragon Balls somehow. He knows they're gone on Namek, but since they existed on Namek, they must exist somewhere else too. Although, that's not his main concern at the moment. He could use that in the future, and you may be thinking he might use it to get Frost to come back, but actually, he would use them for a more selfish reason if anything. He doesn't know how he'd use them if he did get them, or if they even do exist out there, but he'd rather use it to benefit himself.
Right.
He is kind of a third party hired for Frost after all. And while he does want to finish his job because that's just part of who he is, his job doesn't include reviving Frost, just procuring the Dragon Balls for him, as well as defeating any of the people that were opposing them on Namek. And since the Dragon Balls on Namek are gone, as well as basically the planet itself, well, that part of his objective has failed, and he has to accept that. Although he doesn't know that Namek was brought back by Earth's Dragon Balls. But that's kind of besides the point. He wants to find those others and defeat them. He's not going to rest until his job is completed. Not just Frieza, but everyone else on Earth that came to Namek to defeat him.
Oh, damn.
He actually doesn't know much about them and assumes they were part of Frieza's army, judging by Vegeta's armor and all. And the fact that the group had Goku and Caulifla, who are other Saiyans too. Everyone is back on Earth more motivated than ever. Piccolo is training in preparation, while Goku is trying to train to surpass Piccolo or Frieza, in any way possible. He doesn't know how he could do so, but he knows he could probably find some sort of way. And Hit assumes that in the meantime, everyone else is going to grow stronger. So if he encounters anyone again, he needs to grow stronger as well. But it's going to be hard to track down the others. That random group that he encountered when they defeated the Ginyu Force, tracking Frieza, that might actually be easy. There's a passage of time here, about a year or so. By now, King Cold has found Frieza, and they started the process of rebuilding him. But he's not fully finished yet. Although in this time, Hit was able to track them down, as well as growing stronger himself too. With the strength that he has now, as well as the abilities he has, he should be able to defeat Frieza. He locates their mothership, sneaking aboard it, catching everyone off guard, defeating some of the random Frieza Force soldiers that he comes across. And he does this all very covertly. His time skip and all his assassin abilities actually help him to go through this without anybody noticing. And as he goes through the ship, he tries to get any info he can on the Dragon Balls, as well as the rest of the Frieza Force, and see if he can find those other people on Earth, since he doesn't actually know where they're from, and maybe he can get some info here. So, he collects whatever he can along the way. But much to Hit's surprise, pretty early on, he comes in contact with King Cold, who's immediately on guard, and actually isn't too concerned. He's ready to face Hit. King Cold knows who he is, and why he's here. He's here to kill Frieza, isn't he? And Hit says that's part of the objective, but King Cold is part of that as well. And King Cold assumes he's going to be after the Dragon Balls as well. What, is he going to try to get them to bring Frost back? Hit says actually no. His primary target right now is just him and Frieza. Right. Well, whatever the case, King Cold says this is the end of the line for Hit. He could have just lived a peaceful life away from everything,
King Cold, what you gonna do?
But him coming here sealed his fate. And it shouldn't be too hard for King Cold to defeat him. Especially without Frost at his side, Hit really stands no chance. But Hit tells King Cold that he has no need for Frost anymore. He'll win here. He's more than capable on his own. Alarms start ringing on the ship, and Hit realizes he has to work quickly. King Cold tries to swing at him, but Hit just vanishes from sight, then appearing with his fist connecting to King Cold's chest. And at first, nothing happens, but once Hit steps back, King Cold is just then completely immobilized, then falling to the ground. Hit says that he doesn't need Frost as an ally anymore, but he is grateful that he got this poison from him. It makes King Cold a lot weaker. King Cold then tries to stand up once more, barely having any strength left. He's using poison? What a cowardly move. Hit is an assassin after all, and is going to use anything at his disposal. This is going to make the job much more efficient. He punches in front of him, with a compressed blast of air flying right into King Cold's chest, immediately stopping his heart. The poison weakened him enough to kill him with just one attack. Hit then lifts him up against one of the walls, blasting him out into the vacuum of space.
Damn, all right,
King Cold's corpse floats out in space, and much to Hit's surprise, it doesn't actually freeze or anything. He guesses they're the kinds that could survive in space, but that doesn't matter. With him seemingly dead now and defenseless, Hit launches a single blast that completely eradicates him. He knows how durable these people are and wants to make sure that he doesn't come back or anything, especially with how Frieza came back after all. But while Hit did make this as quick as possible, it wasn't quick enough. The ship is losing stability in the part that he launched a hole into, but as he runs to find Frieza, it seems he's gone. A piece of the ship has separated, launching off on its own. Frieza actually made his own escape, with some of the scientists on board breaking off the section of the ship where Frieza was. He's almost fully repaired and just needs a little bit more time. Frieza hates the idea that they have to run, but this should at least slow Hit down. The rest of the mothership collapses with Hit aborted, as he quickly makes his way towards his own ship.
I ain't never heard of that.
Frieza's long gone already, and Frieza still has no clue who messed with him. He got word that someone was aboard and defeated King Cold, and he has a hunch that it might be that assassin that he faced before, but that makes no sense. That assassin was so weak beforehand. How could he have grown so strong so quickly, enough to defeat King Cold? Even with whatever assassin techniques he has and the ability to stop time, that shouldn't be enough. He still needs the raw strength to defeat King Cold. So, has he grown stronger? Is that it? It can't be anyone else. The Frost Core has completely collapsed. And that Namekian he faced before, it wouldn't have been him, he would have known. It couldn't have been Vegeta either. He wasn't nearly strong enough, and there's no way he grew strong that quickly.
What Vegeta do?
He doesn't have much info, but assumes that he's now being hunted by Hit. What's he gonna do now? A few soldiers and scientists are left with him, thankfully. But the issue is, Frieza has no objective. He doesn't know where Hit's gonna go. It has no clue how to track him down. Not just that, but he has no clue how to track down the other Namekian that he faced before. It's gonna take a lot longer, and he still is gonna need a little bit more time to fully heal and get adjusted to this body. He wants to figure out who that assassin's working for, but not just that, he wants to find that Namekian that faced him before, the one that left him in this condition. Even though the planet's gone, he definitely found a way off there. But he does remember an interesting tidbit of info from his crew. His soldiers had reports of Vegeta running around, same for Caulifla, as well as some galactic patrolmen. The pieces are there. They just need to put the pieces together somehow and figure out what planet they're all coming from. As for Hit, he decides to try and find the others that fought him before too. He wants to try and track down Frieza, but he has no way of tracking that other ship that escaped. By the time he realized it, it was already too far gone. But he assumes that Frieza's next target might be whatever planet those other people came from too. They each have a common enemy. He'll finish his job no matter what, which also includes eliminating those on Earth. And just like Frieza, he thinks a good place to start would be tracking down that patrolman, the one that he saw before, and also that Saiyan he fought, the one wearing orange, the one who was able to dramatically increase his power and defeat him. Wherever they came from, that must be where they are now. So now let's go back to Earth itself. By now, Kappa has actually been assigned to protect Earth along with Jocko. He kinda did have it under his jurisdiction before, but since he's done so well with it so far, that's a big focus of his now. He doesn't live on Earth though, but he does stay very close nearby. He even tries to recruit Caulifla and Vegeta. He knows they have nothing else going on for them right now, and he did kinda want them to join in the first place against Frieza. He hopes the fact that they're fellow Saiyans,
he ain't gonna get Vegeta.
Stalin, that might actually make them warm up to it. But it doesn't. At least for Vegeta. Vegeta doesn't want to go with the offer, and decides to stay on Earth. But because of Vegeta's decision, Caulifla actually decides to join. Knowing how strong Kappa's grown with the patrol, she wants to join him there, growing stronger herself. Besides, this means that she doesn't have to be around Vegeta, since she still does kinda hate him, understandably. This will be a good way to keep herself ahead of him, as well as keeping them from trying to kill each other. Vegeta does aim to surpass the other Saiyans though, training intensely on his own. Naturally, he still does end up with Bulma, but he'll figure out some way to surpass the other Saiyans, especially Kakarot. By now, about 2 years have passed since now.
Oh yeah, because Vegeta didn't get those Genkavus on Nami.
As for Frieza himself, he's finally gotten adjusted to his body. The healing process is complete. Mecha Frieza is now ready. It did take a bit longer for him to fully adjust to this body due to the extent of his injuries and the fact that Hit kinda delayed it. But also, Frieza took some time trying to train a bit with this body too, making sure he has full control over it. It wasn't a lot of training that he did, but it was enough to get him adjusted fully, and more importantly, with his amazing potential, even a little bit of training goes a long way. Let's say a few days and maybe even a week here, just to fully adapt. As for Hit, he hasn't been sitting around doing nothing.
Did he get powerful? He's fucking
growing stronger himself.
Damn, they're a fucking robot.
Continuing his own improvement, growing stronger thanks to pure progress. He wants to improve his physical strength and the ability of his time control. And one day, he descends on Earth. Just like with Frieza and Cold, he's gonna make this a pretty quick job. Thankfully, this place isn't swarming with soldiers, and since it's an entire planet that he's infiltrating, it's a lot easier to remain undercover. His first target is Goku, the one who was an issue before because he was able to counter Hit's time abilities. He actually didn't get to see the full extent of Piccolo's powers, and doesn't realize that he's the biggest threat at the moment, but still has Piccolo as a threat. He'll defeat them all as they come. He tracks Goku down to the middle of some wasteland, wondering why he's here. From a far distance, he launches a poison dart at Goku, immobilizing him as he collapses to the ground. The poison courses through him, injuring him, but also leaving him vulnerable. Hit quickly launches over, ready to kill Goku with one attack. But before he lands it, he senses a power nearby. Something then catches him off guard. He didn't even sense a power nearby. It just popped out of nowhere, but he sees those other two Saiyans in that group from before, Gohan and Vegeta. Vegeta's actually been training with Goku recently. It is a very recent development, but it has been happening. As reluctant as he is to do so, Kakarot's unlocked some sort of new power that Vegeta wants to get a hold of himself.
Oh,
and he's glad that he can finally see Hit again. This time they won't give him a chance to run away, and Vegeta will be the one to beat him. Gohan's also ready to fight as well, and no more words are exchanged, as Vegeta and Gohan fend off the assassin together. They know his abilities from the last fight. They know it's going to be kind of tough to face him with those abilities, but still, it's important because they know about them. But Hit lets them know that he's improved since last time. Even if they know what he's capable of, they don't know the extent of what he's capable of now. Before, he was only able to time skip about a 20th of a second. He's improved that now. It's about 1/15. And he's gained a better ability on time control in general, while also growing much stronger physically. And Vegeta questions why Hit is even here, and Hit just simply says he needs to finish his job. He was tasked with defeating all of them, and he's going to do so. But Vegeta says it's a pointless task. First of all, his leader's gone. He should just give it up. But not just that, it's cowardly the way he's going about it. Sure, he's an assassin and all, but at least fight like a true warrior. Or was it because he knew that he wouldn't be able to defeat him in Kakarot? And Hit says he's confident he would have been able to defeat Goku even if he didn't catch him off guard. Just like he'll be the one to defeat Frieza. Oh, so that's it too. He's after Frieza as well. But Vegeta lets Hit know that he'll be the one to defeat Frieza as well, once he attains Kakarot's power. What, that Kaioken thing? Hit says that's not going to be enough for Frieza. Not for him either. But also he's surprised to hear that Vegeta wants to defeat Frieza. He assumed they were part of his crew too. Vegeta even did have the armor of the Frieza Force on. But Vegeta laughs at this. No, he hasn't been with Frieza for a while. Besides, he should have seen them fighting against the Ginyu Force. That wasn't some sort of internal fight. Vegeta wasn't the Ginyu Force. He was with that other group. The Ginyu Force was specifically after them. Frieza is their enemy, and Frieza is Vegeta's target. But even with a valiant effort from Gohan and Vegeta, it's not enough to face Hit. He's grown so powerful, and his techniques are so advanced. They can't do too much.
Come on, Vegeta, get your ass up.
Thankfully, before Hit's able to do anything else, another fighter quickly arrives.
Piccolo.
One who catches Hit completely off guard, and then fights him with such astonishing speed that even Hit can't keep up. Piccolo has arrived on the battlefield, and Hit's confused. Why is a Namekian here, and how is he so powerful? It's that same one that he saw before, he remembers that, but is he stronger than Goku? Piccolo's able to stop Hit, also throwing a Senzu Bean at Gohan, who then gives it to Goku. But Goku's actually fine. Thankfully, the poison was only temporary. He wasn't hit with nearly enough of it, and Hit's in a pretty big bind now. But then they sensed something strange. Hit didn't realize that this whole time, he was being tracked by Frieza, and that's exactly who he senses. Frieza's power is approaching Earth. He led Frieza right here, and now Frieza's gonna have an opportunity to take down everyone that was meddling in his plans. Not just Hit, but the Saiyans on Earth too. And this just makes things even worse. He warns them of Frieza's power. They might have been able to defeat him, but he doubts they'll be able to defeat Frieza. They're going to need his help. But Goku tells Hit to chill out. Frieza might be powerful, but they should be able to handle him. And even if Hit's power will be helpful here, they might not need it. They're actually a lot stronger than Hit's giving them credit for. Frieza's ship lands, and he makes his presence known. With a group of a few fighters arriving over there, Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, and Hit, who actually isn't too sure what to do right now. But no one's off guard because they know that Hit could easily try and kill them while they're not paying attention. Piccolo's keeping a close eye on him to make sure that doesn't happen. And Hit still has no clue what they mean. They're going to need his help to fight Frieza. But Goku says that he and Piccolo can handle this. Frieza's glad to see everyone already here. This is going to make things a lot easier for him, even if that Galactic Patrolman and Caulifla aren't here right now. But Goku steps up first. And he says Frieza's going to be pretty surprised to see what kind of power he has now. He's trained so long and hard to try and surpass Piccolo, and only just recently he found out about this. But it's a state of power beyond anything that he's had before. And Frieza laughs at the idea of a Saiyan trying to defeat him. There's no way he could grow that powerful. And Goku asks if Frieza really wants to wager against that. His aura flares up, a golden key surrounds him, and mechanical sensors within Frieza go off, trying to estimate what this power is. Goku shouts as everything around them shakes. Even Hit is thrown off guard. Goku's hair spikes up and then turns golden, with a burst of ki as he fully powers up. He wasn't too sure what this was at first, and he barely has a control in it, but according to Vegeta, this is apparently the Super Saiyan form. Frieza's frozen in fear when he hears this. A Super Saiyan?
No feature Trunks? Where he at?
That's just a rumor. That doesn't exist. And Goku walks ever so slowly closer to Frieza. And Frieza says he doesn't care if the Super Saiyan is real or not. His new body is even better than it was before. Not to mention, he's grown a bit stronger too. Sure, it was only a few days of training, but it's more than enough. And Goku questions if that's really going to be the case. But before Frieza can do anything, he's suddenly caught in a time cage by Hit, who then yells out now's the time to attack, as Piccolo rushes in too. And this makes Goku kinda mad. He wanted to fight Frieza with his own strength, but it looks like he has no choice. They'll just have to defeat him right away. A combined effort from Piccolo, Goku, and of course Hit defeats Frieza. Well, that was kind of a letdown. Goku was looking forward to facing him, but Hit kinda screwed that up. Although, Hit can make it up to Goku, If they could fight sometime in the near future, that would be pretty great. And Vegeta calls him insane for even suggesting that. He was just trying to kill them before. But Goku reminds Vegeta he tried to do the same as well. Same for Piccolo. They were in an enemy of my enemy situation.
Talk your shit, Goku.
Isn't really a threat here anymore. Plus, he knows what Goku's power is like now, as well as Piccolo's too. Hit could try to kill them, but it's going to be pretty tough. And Hit really has no clue what to think, but he kind of chuckles to himself. Fine, then so be it. While it is part of his mission to defeat them, technically, he guesses it doesn't matter anymore. Frieza's gone, and they're not really part of the Frieza Force anyways, so they're not really part of that objective. This isn't the last you'll see of them. He departs Earth, with everyone thinking that was just a really weird encounter, and Goku's pretty surprised at how dedicated he is to his job. What a weird guy. Out on the sacred world of Kai's, Shin and Fu have actually sensed all this going down. They're keeping a closer eye on everything due to actually trying to be competent here, but also have their hands full. And it seems a lot has happened recently that they need to catch up on.
I forgot the Kai's together. That shit crazy.
What'd you guys think about? There's a passage of time here, about 3 years or so. Over this time frame, nothing too big happens. Caulifla and Kappa do return to Earth occasionally. And Goku's glad to hear that Kappa's actually able to work with her somewhat. She is tough to work with, but still, better than before. Especially considering she was part of Vegeta's squad. And it's good that she's working for the right side now. The two have actually been gone from Earth for a while, and learn that Goku accesses some sort of new power, a transformation called Super Saiyan. They don't learn to access it right away, but still. They definitely are going to try and work towards that. Especially with Caulifla wanting to get that. The two do have jobs as a galactic patrolman after all, so they can't just be here training all the time. But they will stop by occasionally. Especially because with power like that, Kappa can become one of the strongest patrolmen. There's one strange guy who's a bit stronger than him, and Kappa wonders if this will put him over the edge and make him the best patrolman. Although, Jocko will still think he's the strongest regardless. Anywho, they go back to their jobs. Of course, Vegeta's going to try to unlock Super Saiyan as well, spending all his time working towards that. And Goku's pretty amazed because even with this great power, Piccolo is still ahead of them. He guesses that makes sense though because he did merge with a bunch of Namekians, essentially the whole planet of warriors. And he's glad he got to fight Frieza before because he knows Piccolo could have just killed him easily. He and Hit weren't actually needed in that fight. But this doesn't deter Goku. If anything...
How strong do... What form of Goku can beat Piccolo then? Well, Super Saiyan 2? Maybe one, maybe... Nah, Super Saiyan 2? I don't know.
It keeps him more
motivated. How powerful is Piccolo?
Trying to reach Piccolo's level and surpass that. He knows he can. Although, something gets in the way of all this. Goku eventually comes down with some strange virus. And nothing can be done about it. But Kappa eventually does get word of this. Wondering if he could do anything to help. The Galactic Patrol has a ton of advanced tech and resources, so maybe they could do something to make a cure. Bulma honestly isn't too sure because she couldn't even whip up something. Same with Dr. Brief, and they're not really too into medicine anyways. Kappa wants to do anything he can to make sure Goku can pull through, so he tries everything he has. Trying to get Jocko and Caulifla to help as well. And in the nick of time, the Galactic Patrol is able to procure something, with their scientists using their resources to try and get some sort of cure. They can't cure it immediately, but they're able to find a treatment, and this helps them buy just enough time to actually develop a cure. Goku has the virus a little bit earlier on, pretty much around the time where future Goku got this. And it takes longer for him to heal because they didn't treat it right away. But after a few weeks, surprisingly, Goku makes a full recovery. A crisis was averted, and they're grateful for the help of the Galactic Patrol and their resources.
That's crazy, because the Sentry Bean thing
credit, but Jocko kind of does. And Kappa says that Goku's helped him so much in the past that he needed to help return the favor somehow. And thus, the heart virus never kills Goku. But that doesn't mean they're safe from threats here. One day, there's a terrifying news report. Some cities being attacked by what looks to be just two regular teenagers.
Goku really got taken out by a heart virus. He wrote that. That was the. I don't think we talk about that enough. A heart virus. Imagine that was canon. Like, I'm not canon. I mean, imagine like that just was like the original story. You know, just Goku just died of a heart virus. Now it's Gohan's show, which would be fire. But like that's crazy.
Teenagers or something. No one has a clue of what's going on. Krillin's the first to get word of this and contacts the others. Judging from what they see on the newscast, it looks like somebody using Ki to attack. But no matter what they do, they can't sense any strong Ki signatures, but they should be able to. It's strange, and it seems like this could be a problem. So they're definitely going to check it out. They fly over to the city, but just as they do, they see a ship descending from the sky. A very familiar one. It's Kappa's ship, with he and Caulifla jumping off board. This is under his jurisdiction after all, so he wanted to check this out because he has been monitoring the planet. And he hoped they would have some sort of info, but they don't. Jocko also jumps off the ship, saying that no matter what this threat is, they'll be able to defeat it, until he sees the entire city vaporized in front of him, and decides he's gonna go back on the ship for a bit. The group looks around frantically trying to find who's responsible for this, and they see two figures floating in the sky. They lock onto this group, descending down to the ground. Vegeta says these are just two normal humans, but how are they able to do this? They're shooting beams in what looks to be Ki blasts, but they don't sense any sort of power coming off these two. And then Goku and Krillin see something interesting. One of them is wearing the symbol of the Red Ribbon Army, and Goku puts all the pieces together. These are androids. That explains why they can't sense them. 17 compliments Goku for figuring it out. Yep, they're androids, and he should realize that they're the ultimate life forms too. They're actually glad that Goku came here. That makes their job a lot easier. They're actually not really doing it just to please Jiro, but they do have a directive to kill Goku, kind of as a side quest for them, and then they'll just go back to their normal destruction. But this is fun. They didn't expect to see Goku right away. But Goku tells them they're not going to get away with this. He doesn't care if they're androids,
Piccolo can handle those androids,
whatever.
easy.
Whatever power they have won't be enough to face them. He's surrounded by a golden aura, powering up in his Super Saiyan. The two androids aren't really too phased, and then Vegeta does the same thing, powering up as well. Cabba looks around a bit confused, and guesses they're all going to power up as soon as they can, so he transforms as well.
Yes, sir.
With Caulifla following suit. Vegeta's jaw drops and Goku looks over smiling. So they actually got the form. That's awesome. Goku's obviously elated, but Vegeta, not so much. Especially knowing he still wants to be stronger than the other Saiyans, mainly Kakarot and Caulifla. And Caulifla could tell this gets under Vegeta's skin. But Vegeta's not going to let distract him. He'll prove himself in this fight. They also have Krillin, Piccolo, and Gohan there, all ready to fight whatever this threat is. The androids aren't too phased by this though. They have data on all these fighters and kinda know how they fight, even if they aren't too aware of these new developments in their power. The Super Saiyans all fight with great speed, but no matter what they do, it's not enough to fight the androids. It is enough to just push them back though, and basically hold them off, but not nearly enough to kill them, especially because they learn that androids have infinite energy. But there's something there that really helps them tip the scales, that being Piccolo.
2v1?
He still is the strongest in the group, and no matter how strong the androids are here, it might not be enough to face Piccolo, and they kinda realize that right away. The Super Saiyans have their fun at first, and it's not like Piccolo wasn't already fighting seriously, but once he sees that they're not faring too well, he decides to show off some more of his power. Obviously the androids can't even sense it, but he's actually able to completely demolish them. They still do have the advantage in stamina, and this doesn't mean that they're not powerful, they still are very strong. But they can't believe how strong Piccolo is. He shouldn't be this powerful. But again, they haven't really seen the full extent of his power. Piccolo says no matter how much data they have, they definitely aren't up to date on what happened to him on Namek. But they know Piccolo's full power. It shouldn't be like this. And Piccolo asks if they're really sure about that. He hasn't used his full power for a while. Not to mention it's much greater than it was on Namek because it has been a few years. And the androids realize they're fighting a losing battle, so they throw up a smoke screen and try to escape, using their lack of ki as an advantage. But Piccolo's quickly able to reach his arm out, grabbing one of them, dragging 17 in by his leg. And as the smoke clears, he sees Android 18 standing there, holding Vegeta with a hand stretched out to his head, having taken him hostage. Alright, Piccolo could do the same, taking Android 17 as his hostage. So it's come to this. They've realized they've lost.
That nigga Piccolo don't care about Vegeta.
And 18 has no clue what to do because this is the only thing she could think of in the meantime. But then 17 thinks quick, putting up a bunch of different barriers, launching a powerful ki blast in front of him, basically turning into a giant hamster ball as it rolls away. 17 puts all his power into it, and there's such strength in this blast that it sends them far away. At a shocking speed too, basically launching them across the entire ocean as it rolls across. And 17 is able to wiggle free of Piccolo's grasp, but the second he does, Piccolo launches a blast from his mouth, not only destroying all the barriers around them, but completely incinerating Android 17.
Yes, sir.
Piccolo rockets back into the city, and then senses a huge burst in power. It's Vegeta. He summons all of his strength trying to break free, elbowing Android 18 in the gut. And it doesn't do much in terms of damage, but it's able to help him break free. And he's absolutely fuming. How cowardly that they're trying to take hostages too. Just accept their defeat already. And he quickly jumps back, then firing a Gallic gun at her, with 18 launching her own blast, easily holding it off. But she could tell this isn't good. 17's probably already been defeated. And Vegeta's blast gets more powerful as Goku then jumps in. And then Cabba. And then Caulifla. It's a 4v1 beam struggle.
Alright, look, the androids were strong as shit. The androids were strong as fuck. I ain't gonna lie, if 4 Super Saiyans are struggling against 18, alright, shout out to Saiyan, bro. It don't take 4 Saiyans to beat 1 android. I swear it don't. 2 should have been enough. I ain't gonna lie.
This is
Them niggas was strong, but it wasn't crazy.
Gohan, yelling Masenko, hitting her from above and not doing too much damage. But Piccolo then makes his way back, joining in with Gohan's attack. So now from the sky,
5,
she's hit by that double Masenko,
6
and
beams,
consumed by all the blasts hitting her at once. And just like that, the androids are defeated. In case you didn't already notice, there's no time travel here either, which also means...
Damn, 17 got off easy. Hey, low key, 18 used to. Hey, it took 4 of them. It took like 6 of them niggas to beat me. It took 6 of them niggas. 4 Super Saiyans, a fucking Super Namekian, and a fucking Kid Prodigy is fucking killed. Like, what the fuck?
Cell from that alternate timeline isn't going to show up, but it is worth noting they never found Jiro's lab. Essentially, this is the Events of the Future timeline, but there's no need to distinguish the timelines because there's no time traveling here. That's why the androids awaken early. That's why Goku came down with the heart virus and didn't have someone travel from the future to help him. And it also means Gero died at the hands of Android 17 just like normal, and no one's ever going to find Cell. So he still is being developed in Gero's lab. Now Vegeta pulls Kappa aside. He's decided what he's going to do next. He wants to train with the Galactic Patrol. And Kappa's a bit confused to hear this. Why? Well, Vegeta's seen how they've grown so strong so quickly. Plus, something about these tailless Saiyans has always been strange. He wonders if they have inherently greater potential. But even if that is the case, that doesn't matter. Vegeta's own hard work will pay off. Besides, he's an elite Saiyan prince after all. If anything, he should be inherently gifted too. And he knows they probably have some strange training facilities. That's gotta be the case. They had the tech and resources to cure Goku's virus, so they gotta have something for that as well. And Kappa says, yeah, they do. That's part of the reason they grew so quickly. And it's decided. Vegeta's gonna go with them for a bit, wanting to see if he could ascend Super Saiyan somehow. And more importantly, getting ahead of all the other Saiyans. While everyone else stays on Earth, Goku is still trying to get Gohan to unlock Super Saiyan, and was hoping that this battle would help with that. But you know, it's probably a good thing that it didn't because he knows it's unlocked from anger too. Especially with how Gohan's power works. He knows that inducing that anger would probably mean that something really bad happened, so it's probably good that it didn't happen.
True.
Thankfully they have Piccolo here, so that's still really going to help them grow stronger. But there's also other things going on too. Let's go out into space. Going back to Hit. Following the encounter with Frieza,
Punk ass doing?
Hit has found new work out in space. He still is basically working as a freelance mercenary. Whoever pays the highest, he'll work for them. And he has a great work ethic. He's notorious around the universe, not just for his great powers, but just the fact that he always gets the job done. No matter what it is, he sees it through to the end. And there is one faction that's particularly interested in his abilities, that being the Heaters. First, they started hiring him for a few jobs here and there. The best part is, Hit never asks questions about them. As long as the pay's fine, he'll do whatever they say. Taking out high-ranking soldiers on other planets, any competing factions, or even cleanly assassinating people that work for them that they want to get rid of. Because the Heaters do have some of those people. And with him working with the Heaters so much, they form a good business relationship with Hit. And he becomes one of their star mercenaries, although he is pretty competitive with another one of the mercenaries, one who's also doing very well in his own right. That being Granolah. The two are very competitive, with Granolah being sent out as basically a pirate. He has his own great abilities, and definitely is powerful, but the Heaters still kind of view him as a problem. Their empire is expanding, especially without Frieza there. They're able to take the throne and fill that power vacuum, taking over as many planets as they can and making as much money as possible. And with this, they're getting more soldiers, more strong people that they can trust. And the Heaters start to view Granolah as more expendable than he was before. And Granolah could easily tell what they're thinking. He doesn't have as much jobs with them anymore, and when he does, they're a lot more dangerous than they were before. Granolah starts trying to train more and more, trying to grow stronger. He feels like he knows what the Heaters are going to do. Frieza might be gone, but he knows there's still other threats out there.
Right.
The Heaters are still a pain, and Hit might be a potential threat as well. But Granolah knows that there's also Saiyans out there apparently. Granolah's a bit paranoid, thinking he has enemies everywhere. And he wants to do whatever he can to preserve his life, wanting to figure out maybe how Hit's techniques work. Maybe he can get them for himself. This could be the key to his survival. He can get rid of the Heaters once and for all. Get rid of Hit too, so he's not a threat. And even better, enact revenge on the Saiyans, who ironically enough he heard about from Hit, who had mentioned them in passing for the Heaters while Granolah was eavesdropping. And one day, Granolah is able to get what he wants. Hit goes to the Heaters' headquarters for another job, but feels a strange sensation as he's walking in, almost as if his time skip is activated. He can move freely, but he knows he didn't activate his time skip.
Oh shit.
Then he realized what this is. It must have been someone else. Even though it was only for a split second, someone used the time skip ability. He felt a weird ripple in time that felt like it almost stopped.
Granolah with time skip? Oh my god.
All he sees are the Heaters on the ground. Every single one of them. They're dead. And each one of them has one wound on them. A precise attack that killed him in one shot. And he looks around, trying to see who did this. And then he feels that same sensation again. That ripple in time. Anyone else wouldn't be able to move with this. But Hit activates its own time skip, skipping at the same time as whoever else is doing it. Everything completely stops around them for a brief moment. And Hit turns around quickly enough to see who it is, defending against the attack. The time skip ends, and Hit standing there with his arm defending, with Granolah being the one to attack him. Wait, it's him using these abilities? He didn't know Granolah had those powers. But more importantly, why is he after Hit now? As we've discussed before, Hit doesn't really care about his employers. He's not loyal to them and has no attachment to the Heaters. They just pay him, that's really it. But Granolah is directly threatening him, so this is his problem now. Hit tells Granolah he has no clue how he got this power or what he's planning. But if he plans to try and kill Hit, Hit's gonna make it as tough for him as possible. He can tell that Granolah had some clear grudge against the Heaters, and lets Granolah know nothing of this is personal. He got paid, and that's all that
this
matters
nigga
to
get
him,
the fucking
just his job.
time
And
skip.
that job with the Heaters is done. But Granolah has no clue of what to think. He doesn't know if Hit is a threat or not. But even if he is, that doesn't matter, because of his wish to become the strongest. Wait, a wish? Hold on, does that mean he used the Dragon Balls? But he never went to Namek or anything. How did he get the Dragon Balls? And Granola's surprised to see that Hit knows about them, but says it's no concern how he got them. So he made a wish to become the strongest in the universe at this point, which grants him the powers of the others who he surpassed. Now he's able to control time just like Hit. But then, Granolah drops his
Strongest
guard.
in the universe?
He'll be willing to take Hit's word for it, not going after him. Because first of all, he knows if he needs to kill Hit, he can. And second of all, he could tell that he's genuine. He's worked alongside Hit long enough to know this. He has no grudge against Granolah and no reason to kill him. And he has no connection to the Heaters besides being paid. And it's not like he got rid of Hit's only source of income. He can get other jobs. And Granolah says if it really does interest Hit, he's only using this power for vengeance. He knows Frieza's gone already, but he still had other issues. The Heaters, for one. They were plotting to kill him after all. But more importantly, he knows there's someone else out there that he needs to defeat. He heard Hit mention it before too. The Saiyans. The same group of warriors that destroyed his people.
Oh, shit.
All he wants this power for is vengeance. He just wants to get rid of the Saiyans, and then live his life in peace. He doesn't want to have to kill Hit, but he will if he needs to. And says he hopes Hit realizes the same thing. Don't get in his way. Time freezes again, and Hit tries to counter it, but he can't. Granolah's able to actually stop time for a little bit longer, giving him just enough time to get out of there.
Oh, damn.
He wasn't using it to attack, just to disappear. And Hit has no clue what to think. Granolah might be an issue. He never was that strong before, and now Hit's kind of concerned. But he wonders if Granolah's actually going to try to go through with that. He knows exactly what Saiyans he's going for too, and he wonders if he's truly going to be able to stop that. But again, Hit isn't really attached to anyone. This isn't any of his business. But he does wonder what his next move should be. But he recognizes Granolah's going down a dark path. He's consumed by revenge, and he did mention something interesting. He wants to get rid of any remain of the Frieza Force too. But surely he should know about the Frost Core, right? Which could also leave him as a potential target. As Hit ponders his next move against Granolah, or if he even is going to make one, this is where we'll leave off for now. What did you guys think about this part? What's going to happen next?
I ain't gonna lie, that's really good right there, boy. That's some good writing right there, Charlotte. Hey, Charlotte. Hey, I expect pop. I forget about Granolah. God damn, that was a good one. That was a good one. Granolah, Hit. You know what I'm saying? The Saiyans doing their thing. I like Vegeta working with Kaba and Khalifa and the Galactic Patrol. So we will see what happens next. You know what I'm saying? The next chapter, man. So anyway, if you want to watch the last chapters, they'll be right here. You know what I'm saying? Another what if story can be right here. And then I'll catch y'all next time, man.